You're watching South Asia Newsline, and here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Wednesday, the 17th of September. New India does not fear any nuclear threat, PM Modi warns Pakistan. India refused third-party role in mediation talks, Pakistan's foreign minister admits. And families of Nepal's Gen Z protest martyrs stare at uncertainty. And now for all the details. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi turned 75 on Tuesday with wishes pouring in from world leaders, including US President Donald Trump, Italy's PM Giorgia Meloni and Australia's Anthony Albanese. Prime Minister Modi on the occasion visited Madhya Pradesh state, where he launched schemes for women, children and tribal welfare, stressing that India's progress rests on women, youth and farmers. Addressing the gathering, he hailed freedom fighters and slammed Pakistan's duplicity on terror. On Jaish-e-Mohammed commander's admission that India's precision strike under Operation Sindoor hit Masood Azhar family in Bahawalpur, PM confirmed what India had been maintaining, that Bahawalpur remains the hub of Jaish operations, despite Pakistan's denials. He also reiterated that the new India does not fear nuclear threats and reaffirmed his stance against terrorism while hailing the valor of Indian Defence Forces during Operation Sindoor.
पाकिस्तान से आए आतंकियों ने हमारी बहनों बेटियों का सिंदूर उजाड़ा था। हमने ऑपरेशन सिंदूर करके आतंकी ठिकानों को उजाड़ दिया है। हमारे वीर जवानों ने पलक झपकते ही पाकिस्तान को घुटनों पर ला दिया। अभी कल ही देश और दुनिया ने देखा है, फिर एक पाकिस्तानी आतंकी ने रो रो कर अपना हाल बताया है। साथियों, ये नया भारत है। ये किसी की परमाणु धमकियों से डरता नहीं है। ये नया भारत है, घर में घुसकर मारता है।
Meanwhile, Pakistan's Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar, in a rare admission, acknowledged that India has never agreed to third-party mediation on bilateral disputes. Busting US claims of playing mediator in the wake of Operation Sindoor, Ishaq Dar told Al Jazeera, India never agreed to any third-party mediation, while adding, "We don't mind such involvement, but India has categorically maintained it is a bilateral issue." At the same time, Jaish-e-Mohammed's top commander Masood Ilyas Kashmiri, in a viral video, appeared to admit that India's counter-terror strike under Operation Sindoor tore the family members of Jaish-e-Mohammed chief Masood Azhar into pieces, after targeting the outfit's Bahawalpur headquarters. On May 7, 2025, India launched Operation Sindoor against militant bases in Pakistan in retaliation for the Pahalgam terror attack in Jammu and Kashmir that killed 26 civilians. India accuses Islamabad of backing cross-border terrorism, an allegation Pakistan denies. Moving on. Activists in Geneva have raised their voices against Pakistan's alleged atrocities in Balochistan, staging a protest and photo exhibition outside the UN office. They call for urgent global action to stop enforced disappearances, killings and exploitation in the region.
Members of the Baloch National Movement on Tuesday held a photo exhibition near the iconic Broken Chair Monument in front of the UN office in Geneva, aiming to draw global attention to the human rights crisis in Balochistan and highlight how the Pakistani state is carrying out a systematic genocide in the region. The exhibition was part of BNM campaign in Geneva during the ongoing UHRC session. The activists flagged concern over abductions and enforced disappearances of Baloch people by the Pakistani military and emphasized the need for immediate global intervention.
As Balochistan is suffering from decades of separations, after the forceful annexation of Pakistan in 1948, since that Baloch people are struggling for their freedom, right to liberty and live. We are here to highlight the human rights violations happening in Balochistan. On a daily basis, there are human rights violations in the shape of extrajudicial killings, forceful disappearances, and collective punishments.
The demonstration was marked by speeches, slogans, a photo exhibition, and an awareness camp aimed to bring international attention to the ongoing human rights violations in Balochistan.
पाकिस्तान के खुद कई वज़राए आज़म जो आए हैं उन्होंने अपने जो पाकिस्तान पे जो दुनिया के कर्जे हैं उन्होंने ये मेंशन किया है कि हम बलूचिस्तान के रिसोर्सेज को बेचकर अपना कर्जा अदा करेंगे, लेकिन इसके खिलाफ बलूच कौम ने एक रेजिस्टेंस शुरू की है। इस रेजिस्टेंस को दबाने ख़त्म करने के लिए पाकिस्तान ने जो ब्रूटल पॉलिसी अपनाई है उसमें इन्फोर्स डिसअपीयरेंसेस, एक्स्ट्रा जुडिशियल किलिंग, रिकवरी ऑफ द मास ग्रेव्स, मतलब एक जेनोसाइड की शक्ल इख्तियार कर चुकी है, वहाँ एक जेनोसाइड हो रही है।
Baloch people have long been targets of so-called military operations, ethnic stereotyping and abductions by the Pakistani state, while it continues to exploit their natural resources. The situation is not highlighted by the local media, forcing them to seek intervention through global platforms.
With rising temperatures, Bangladesh is facing physical and mental health risk, along with declining productivity, leading to economic losses, says a new World Bank report. The report reveals that the country lost nearly $1.8 billion in 2024 alone due to heat-related illnesses and productivity losses. It also highlights the alarming consequences of maximum temperatures that have climbed by 1.1 degrees Celsius since 1980. The capital city Dhaka is now one of the world's most heat-stressed cities, with its heat index rising 65% faster than the rest of the country. From rising cases of diarrhea and respiratory illness to spikes in fatigue and depression, extreme heat is pushing people and the economy to the brink. The World Bank hopes that Bangladesh can beat the heat and the crisis if it works on building stronger health systems, more urban green spaces, and international support. And as families bid farewell to victims of last week's deadly anti-corruption protest, Nepal is heading towards the road to stability amid uncertainty for both the nation and the mourning families with elections next March.
Funerals were held at a sacred Hindu site in Nepal's capital of Kathmandu for victims of the last week's deadly anti-corruption protests on Tuesday. Grieving families performed last rites at the sacred Pashupatinath temple, where coffins draped in the national flag were given a police guard of honor.
परिवार पनि नभएको हुँदाखेरि दुईजना नानीहरू हुँदाखेरि त्यो दुईजना नानी मात्रै नाबालकहरू चाहिँ अहिले बाउआमा विहीन अब उहाँहरू भएको कारणले गर्दाखेरि सरकारले हेरविचार सरकारले सबै पालन पोषणदेखि उमेर पुगेपछि राज्यले अब जागिरसम्म.
At least 72 people died during the unrest of the Gen Z protests, which erupted over corruption and a social media ban, while more than 2,100 were injured. Police responded with water cannons, tear gas, and live fire as protesters stormed the parliament and set it ablaze. Another relative of a deceased remembered the moment her brother had left home on the dark day of September 8th, which now has left a void that never can be filled.
मेरो भाइको चाहिँ हिजो पोस्टमार्टम गरेर मात्र थाहा भयो, एउटा गोली लागेर पछाडीबाट छिरेथ्यो, एउटा गोली चाहिँ लागेर यो मुखमै तल छिरेको रहेछ. पोस्टमार्टममा चाहिँ थाहा भयो, प्रष्ट भयो.
With parliament already dissolved and formation of a new interim government, and elections called for next year in March, Nepal is traversing through a bumpy road towards hope of stability. But for the family members of the deceased there is empty rooms, silent conversations, and a dark and uncertain future waiting to embrace.
And the Tibetan government in exile has welcomed the concerns raised by UN experts over China's bid to control the Dalai Lama's succession, calling it a vital stand for religious freedom. The Tibetan leaders who run a government in exile in India said that Beijing should listen to the free world and accused China of trying to impose its own version of Buddhism. The Dalai Lama has made clear that only his Gaiden Phodrang Trust can decide on his reincarnation, which he says will take place in the free world. Beijing views the Dalai Lama as a separatist and has insisted that China's leaders would have to approve his successor as a legacy from imperial times.
Just after His Holiness 90th birthday celebration, 7 European countries, led by the UK, Germany and France, Holland, Iceland, Estonia and Lithuania, have also said similar things. And this time, UN Special Rapporteurs, experts on religious freedom, have expressed their opinion on how it should be done and what was the traditional form and how it affects the religious freedom of the Tibetan people. And I think that's a very significant statement from an international body who's responsible for monitoring religious freedom all over the world. And I think China should be listening more to the free world.
It's atheist communist Chinese leadership who never believes in religion, when they interfere in the religious incarnation of Dalai Lama, it's a big issue because every faith is at stake. Now today it is Buddhist religion which is at stake because they want to interfere in everything that is related to Buddhism, and they want to make it into Chinese characteristic, which is very unusual because faith is individual, it's related to the personal belief.
And that's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Till then, good night.